What's up, everyone? Welcome into Mikey's Boardroom. I'm Mikey.
I'm Krista.
And today we're going to compare. I almost said review. We're going to compare
and contrast
Super Fantasy Brawl with Summoner Wars.
Yes.
Two 1v1 skirmish games. One's a little more card based, and one's a little more dice based. One has a little bit more asymmetric abilities. One has a little bit less asymmetric abilities.
Yes.
But nonetheless, they are something we will talk about for the next 15 to 20 minutes.
You do like to talk. It's true.
So well, maybe 30 minutes. So let's talk about things that they have in common. So what they have in common is I've actually already kind of covered it. They're two skirmish games.
It took me a minute though. I was like, what? When did you say?
They're 1 versus 1.
And they both have really evil looking characters. That's another.
Not all of them though. Like this ice lady doesn't look so bad. And also this.
She's a Viking. She's pure evil.
Okay, well what about her?
I mean, look at her. You know what she is. I don't know how to say it.
Nazi. No, you didn't let me finish. I did not see who you're talking about. Super Fantasy Brawl, like I said, it's more card driven. Everything you do is through the cards that you have, or actually I should say through the cores that you have. It's actually more, you have these 3 cores, red, yellow, and blue, and those kind of drive everything you do in your turn. You use them to play the cards, which is how you do most of your actions. There are actions you can take using just those cores, but mostly I would say this is a card-based skirmish game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because everything is in the cards, where you're not rolling dice compared to Summoner Wars, where when you attack, you roll dice, and so some of that's going to be based on what dice how you rolling or how you roll.
Yeah, this feels definitely more like
more luck based.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I can't think
more
of the word
stupid.
I'm looking for. I was trying to think of the word I was looking for. Like,
rigid. It's more rigid.
You're describing your personality.
Sorry, I'll stop putting words in your mouth.
No, like more like battle based. Is that the right word? Like I feel like it's more like my dice against your dice.
Yeah, it's more like.
What's the word? I can't think of it.
Competitive? No, not competitive. No. It's more. I don't know.
I'll think of it. Maybe. Where this is like more strategy. I think this is more strategy.
I would say This offers a lot more open room for variability.
Look at you! Did you learn some new words?
Because it's not as rigid. This is a lot more rigid in what it does. It offers variability within its own deck. Because in this, I guess another difference is in Summoner Wars, you have one specific faction deck that goes against another faction deck that they have. In this, you have hero decks, and you combine the hero decks. You pick 3 heroes, and you combine their decks to make your deck. So because of that, they have to leave this a little bit more open-ended, so that those can blend and be fun, which also allows for a lot more variability in your choices and your turn and what you do. Whereas
I get what you mean now by rigid. Yeah, this is very much like this, and this is like you could do any of these.
If you're playing
options.
with the Goblin deck, you have kind of do this. If you're playing with the the Undead deck, you're doing this. It's like the game is you're doing these things, and how you utilize those things is how you play the game. And there are some little differences in the different decks, but not nearly like Summoner Wars, where each deck is like completely different.
Yeah. Here.
Boom! Knocked it out of the park on that one.
I have to say I'm impressed by your description of each. That's the first time I've ever agreed with you.
Oh, that's the first time you listened to me when I'm talking about games. So.
Well, somebody said that I just stare up in space and look bored. So I'm attempting to not look bored. Usually I'm just looking at bugs flying around the room.
Let's be real. Many people have said that to you.
Yes.
Not just one.
Usually it's because I'm looking at the bugs and I'm like, don't touch me, bugs.
So then we kind of covered it, but another...
Oh, like that one. Oh, it's a spider.
Well, don't blow it. It's just going to swing back towards you. See, there it is.
Is it back?
You got to do this. You got to go.
I don't want to touch it. You touch it. That's what you're here for. That's why I married a man.
Eat it down.
Otherwise, I would have married a woman.
Don't take protein. Don't take protein for granted.
Gross. Although Bear Grylls. Thank you.
Yes, spider.
Yes, please.
I better drink my own pee.
I'm not thirsty, but I'll show you what I would do if I was.
No, I'm not thirsty, but I'm craving a margarita right about now, and this is the next best thing.
Exactly.
Okay. How do we get on that? All right, so I want to talk about the pros and cons of each game specifically, a little bit differently, and then talk about kind of which one we prefer. So we did recently put out a review for this, and we didn't do a review for this, so this is kind of going to be like our little mini review of each, I guess. So let's start with Summoner Wars, and let's talk about things we liked and didn't like. So do you have anything you want to say that you liked first? A positive?
How about you go first of all, I think.
I like how each deck is completely unique, different from the other decks. They all work within their own deck together, and they all play differently, and like I said, they all work well enough.
I do agree that they're all different and all unique, but they are not all fun to play.
Why not?
I remember, I played with 2 decks first, and I did not like either of them.
Okay.
And then this last one you had me play with, I wasn't a big fan of.
Okay.
We went through it again and played it.
I guess fun to play is all a matter of subjective, I guess. In general, in terms of the game, they all work well and are within the term, within the confines of the game. They all work well.
My problem with the decks was that I don't like having to play cards off of each other, and I know that's a board game thing. People do that. Yes, just a game but it's if I play this card, I get to do this with this card, and it's just I don't want to do that, and I don't like doing that. When I play board games, I just want to have fun. I don't want to be
maximize. You don't want to min-max?
Whatever that means, yes. And so if you're a person that also just wants to have fun with board games, be able to relax and have a drink and not mush your brain, you probably wouldn't like Summoner Wars.
Okay.
There was one deck that I didn't mind that played pretty easily. The ice deck. Yes. But the other ones, it was just I just got so bored trying to remember everything. I know you hate when I say bored, but that's the thing is I'm bored or I'm having fun. It's one or the other. And it's just too much. Halfway through it, I was like, okay. I'm tired of remembering what all the other cards do to the other cards, all the effects. This card affects this card in this way, and I'm just over it. I don't want to read it anymore.
Okay. I honestly 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Like I said, they all work well within the confines of the game, but yeah, I 100% agree. The problem that I have with it is that I do have other things I like, but I just gotta say this now, I guess, because we're going into it. The problem I have with it is that there's too many repeats of all the cards. So the game is just playing the same exact cards down, and they all have these abilities. And so it's just okay, this one's here and this one's here, and you're just playing these cards down, and it's the same cards over and over again. Mm-hmm. And so it's just, they're so asymmetric and different, but for it to really work, they would need to have even more variability in the cards for it not to get so stale. Because it just gets, but it would keep it from getting stale. And once you knew that deck, you would know it really well. Which I mean, it's true for anything. But I did not like that you're playing a lot of the same units over and over again. It just was it just felt...
You're discarding so many of the same cards, too. It just feels stupid. You're I'll just toss those.
Yeah, because you discard in order to get...
the same 2. And
yeah, exactly. You discard cards to get the magic to play the cards. So it's I discard these 2 cards, and then I just draw those same 2 cards because there's a lot of them in the deck. So that is one of the... I agree with what you're saying. It's not that it's right. It is boring.
93% of the time I am correct.
It feels boring a lot, and it's not because it's too complicated. It's just it's boring.
It's not too complicated.
It's boring because it's just the same.
I don't want to remember what cards are affected by all the things. I just don't want to.
I can remember that.
That's not I didn't say I couldn't. I said I don't want to.
yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Another thing I do like about Summoner Wars is that they have the event cards. I love that there's an event card that you play that lasts for there's set phases, and so when you play the events get played in different phases, and you play it in this phase, it lasts all the way till that phase again. And so I like that there's event cards that slightly alter the gameplay. I would love to see something like that implemented slightly in Super Fantasy Brawl. I don't know if they could do it without completely breaking the game, but I just like how there's a sort of something else to kind of change up the game, the board a little bit or whatnot.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. I also do I'll put in with it. I think all the effects are pretty cool. The effects are, I like how they play off. They play off each other really well. I just don't want to do it. So I did want to add that. The effects, I feel like they got the effects really well. It all works.
Like I said, it all works really well within the confines of the game. It's just the game that I sort of have a problem with, and how repetitive everything gets.
So if you like overthinking, it's a game for you.
I also really like the setup of this, especially compared to this. The setup on this is you have a deck of cards, some dice, and some tokens, and that's it.
I don't like it.
You don't like... No. You never have to set it up. What are you talking about?
Okay. Oh, you're talking about like the actual setup?
The easy setup. Like the way it looks. Summoner Wars takes as long to set up as it takes for you to shuffle the deck of cards, basically.
I thought you were saying like the game itself.
Super Fantasy Brawl, if you want to do this where it's fun, you have to like get all of them out and have a draft where we select the characters. Like that's
which is actually kind of fun.
Which is super fun. It's part of the game, in my opinion, is the draft. So, but that means you have to get all of these out, all of these out. Careful. I'm getting passionate. You have to get all of these out of the separate boxes. You have to draft, and then after that, with the...
But why do you have to get them all out? Couldn't you just be like, I'm going to get this box out today?
Okay, I take it back. I have draft cards or whatever, and so I lay all the cards out, and then whoever we draft, I have to go through each box and get the mini out and the deck of cards, and then combine that, and we play, and then put it all back in the separate boxes. So it's just, compared to this, that is a huge pain. It takes probably 15 minutes, whereas this takes 5 minutes. So it's
what if you just pick one box? Maybe? Like, we're going to draft from these ones
you could easily just say, I'm going to do this box versus this box. But like I said, in my opinion, part of the fun is having all these different characters and learning them and drafting them and stuff like that. But yes, I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, negatives for Summoner Wars. We already talked about sort of the repetitiveness of the cards.
So cute.
Another big problem I have with Summoner Wars is that it just becomes just a straight back and forth push-pull. I play this, and I play this, and I kill 2 of yours. You play this, and you play that, and you kill 3 of mine. I play this, and I play this, and I kill another 1 of yours. Like, it's just back and forth, the same thing. Hardly anything changes. The only time it changes is when you finally get that champion unit out, and if you haven't done it right, that champion unit's going to die in 2 turns, and it's not even going to be worthwhile to you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to bring the champion out at the right time for it to make a difference. And that means the majority of the game is just playing your basic units back and forth, and just this, like, I slightly get an upper hand on you, an advantage on the board, and then you just on your turn you play, and then you play 2 or 3 things, and then get the upper hand on me, and then in 2 turns I have it again. And so I like eventually it goes back and forth till eventually one of you breaks and the other one wins. But that's not exactly
usually
fun.
I win.
It's not exactly fun when I lose after that.
You try so hard. It's so cute.
I do think I always give my all. I do think if you
except for when you're cleaning.
I do. Yeah, true. I do think that the lack of variability in the decks is part of the problem in that back and forth.
I agree. I'll give you that one, but I would not want to read more cards.
Yeah. So I can understand that. I just think it would make that a better game. But anyways,
I agree. I'll agree with that.
I kind of already said my other one where champions just aren't good enough to warrant the magic that they require. You need 6 magic to get out a champion, which means it's.
I had one that needed like 8.
Yeah,
I was like trash.
There does come a point where you can get that without having all the.
But it's like towards the end of the game.
Exactly. So and like I said, it's more towards that breaking point when one team breaks is when the champions start coming out and the other team doesn't get that champion and then it breaks. So I don't know.
Here.
Yeah.
All right.
My other disadvantage for that, my last one, is that it feels long. It's partly because it's boring,
dry.
But it just feels long. Like playing this for an hour or to an hour and 15 minutes just feels super long.
I'm rubbing sandpaper against my eyes.
Okay, that's enough about Summoner Wars. And we did like this when we first started playing it.
Yes. I like that deck.
Yeah.
Whatever one that is.
I actually liked it. I think I scored it a 4.
Yeah, that deck is fun. I didn't like it.
This is a straight up it's a straight up 2 for me now.
Yeah, it's definitely gone down.
It's a good game, but I have no interest in playing it. I actively want to avoid it.
Yeah.
Even though that I can recognize it's that, like, I can see why people like it, but it's just not for me.
I like that one deck. I want to say that much.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Super Fantasy Brawl. I really like the core system, the 3 different colored cores, and they all sort of have their own role. Red is like damage, blue is sort of like your mind powers, and yellow is more healing. So I just like that every deck has those 3 colors in it. All those cores kind of have those sort of themes to them. And I just like that you use the core to play the card. If you don't, and then you get them all back on the end of your turn, and so then I can play a reaction card to stop one of your attacks, but then I don't have that core on my turn. I just like the core system. It works well. It's fun to strategize with. It's fun to utilize.
I agree. It's not too much to where it's like...
It's simple. Very simple.
Very simple.
But it's also, there's some depth to it, even though it's simple.
You can do a lot with it. I like that they have the extra little things.
It offers. It offers. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm used to it.
It offers variability in your strategy and your tactics.
Yeah.
So it's like I need to do this, and you have these 3 cores to work with, and those 3 cores control these cards in your hand that you have to work with. So the core system allows for that variability that's so sorely missing from Summoner Wars, in my opinion.
And I do like it because, like, I feel like there's more surprise in this. Like, you don't really know what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, there is some up in the air. Even though we can see the minis, you don't see the cards. Where Summoner Wars, it's like, I can see your whole field, and the only thing you have is what you're going to play.
Yeah.
To, next on your turn. But on this, it's like, I might be able to react. I might be able to stop you. I might be able to push your character across the board.
Yeah. This is one of the first games where I've always made fun of you for when you say, like, it gives you the, like, the yes feeling. I've always made funny. But this is probably the first game I've experienced that with.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. See, I'm not crazy.
Maybe I think I feel like that with Dune too, but like this might be the second one.
When you win at Dune, you're just like
yes.
I also like the goal system in this. So I like that.
Except you don't, because you always whine about it.
I like that the game is you're not going after the other person. You're not trying to take out their heroes. You're trying to complete the goals that come up, which are more area control themed versus battle themed. Whereas Summoner Wars, you're trying to take out the other summoner. That's how you win. This, you get trophies, and sure, you get trophies for taking out the other person's heroes.
But it's for different things. Yeah, it's so much more fun.
But it's more like you're trying to be next to this statue, or you're trying to be in the blue zone. Yeah. And because a lot of abilities allow you to manipulate the board and push not only your heroes but the opposing heroes, it means you like even if you think you're set for that trophy, the other person can play just the right card to push one hero just one spot to the left, which completely messes up your whole plan. So I like how that plays.
But I do also like it because, like, if I'm working for something and you push me off of my plan, there's a couple more goals I can just switch to right off the bat, and I'm not like, well, this game
exactly.
sucks.
Again, variability. You can alter your rep plan to try and get a different one. Yeah, agreed. So goal system, I really like that. I like that it's more area control than battle.
Which is funny because I don't like area control games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you just think you don't, to be honest.
You tell me I don't. Actually, you put those words in my mouth. You don't like area control.
I say you think you don't like area control.
No, because whenever you get an area control game, you're like, you're not going to like it. It's area control.
Why do you make me sound like my dad?
Because you sound like your dad. You talk almost as much as him do.
Oh gosh, let's move on. Another thing I like is leveling up your heroes in this. When your hero does take out another hero, they're able to level up. I like that the abilities make the hero feel more powerful. They're a huge advantage to your team, but they don't break the game in any way.
I agree. There's like one that's mega powerful, and I just love getting her before you.
Oh, you're talking about the specific? Yeah. She's got a good deck. She can jump anywhere on the board.
She's got to be the best one, by far, I think.
I don't know about that, but your favorite for sure.
Whenever I play her, you're like, no, I wanted her. If I play her thing, you're like, ah, exactly, she's the best. Or do I just play her really well?
Maybe that's it. I was talking about like when you level them up though.
I don't do that very often. The ability
yet. It's fun. It gives you a big advantage, but it's also not game breaking in that like I've leveled up heroes and I haven't even used their level up before or their ability.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I haven't really leveled I've used it. I've leveled them up, and then an instance has never come up where I actually need to use it.
Well, that is kind of one of my cons, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's really hard to kill one of the characters, which is also kind of a pro.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like I don't flip mine very often. And when that's one of the goals, I just kind of let it go, and I'm like, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to try for it.
I would actually disagree with that. I wouldn't say it's really hard to. I would say that it's more rare to, like, this feels like you can slay enemies all, like you're gonna kill 2 or 3 on your turn.
Yeah.
This, it's like it takes multiple turns to take out one of their heroes.
Well, that's the thing, is it takes multiple turns, but those are multiple turns I could be doing to work towards other goals and win faster.
Which is why it's not the focus. I like so
that's my point. It's hard, and so I don't flip mine very often.
It doesn't you don't level up your heroes a lot, and so that's why like when it happens I like it, but like it feels good and like it
But
gives
then
you
it can be flipped back over if you die. And so it's like, what's the point?
Fine. You wish that there was more you wish there was
I do
more
wish that it was
ability?
easier to like level up VS. I do wish that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I disagree.
Well, I'm right 93% of the time, so you're probably wrong.
I like that this game is quick too. You can play this under an hour.
Yes.
This
agreed. If you were like, hey, you want to play this really quick? I'd be like, yeah. And then after that, let's do puzzle.
It's because you don't have to do the setup. I'm the one doing the setup. We'll set up with like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. But without setup, it's under an hour, usually.
Well, you usually set up while I'm reading to our 7-year-old.
It's with setup. It's probably still under an hour, to be honest. Yeah. It's a pretty quick game.
You probably just lollygag so you don't have to come in the room with me.
I have two negatives. I have two negatives for this game. One is that some of the gold cards can stretch the length, whereas of the game, if you get some of the gold cards right at the beginning of the game, like one is have 2 of your heroes leveled up, and we just kind of talked about how that takes a little bit of time. Some of the gold cards can stretch the length, and then the other con I had was kind of the setup, but I've sort of talked myself out of that one. Setup's not as bad as I was thinking. So that's it. So Summoner Wars versus Super Fantasy Brawl. I think it's pretty obvious to that which one we prefer. We definitely prefer this one. I love this game. This one I really don't like anymore.
Yeah, this is definitely one I'd keep on our shelf. Yeah. And I'd break this out now and then. I feel like we could play this with people too on like a first go round.
It's a great let's try this game. Yeah, it's a great easygoing game that offers a lot of strategy if you wanted to.
And it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah. So 4 out of 5, 2 out of 5. That's my scores.
All right, I will concur again.
You agree?
I think so.
Perfect.
Because I don't like this, but I would play it if you begged me.
Okay, and I won't beg you.
In this, I would play. I might even ask you to play this sometimes.
There you go. All right, so that's it. Super Fantasy Brawl versus.
Are you Dracula tonight?
Super Fantasy Brawl. Super Fantasy Brawl versus Summoner Wars. Let us know which one you prefer if you've played any of them. Let us know if you like Summoner Wars, what we got wrong, and why we don't like it. Other than that, go out there, show kindness, and like, comment, subscribe. We love interacting. And if you want Summoner Wars,
trade.
We got a trade offer.